Okay, so we finished this part of our exercise, and then I said that we introduced a few variables here, and let's take a look at them. We introduced a variable of type string here. So this variable is of type string, and we know that because the thing that it's pointing at is in quotes. That makes it a string. This variable, on the other hand, is of type number, and we know that because it was set equal to a number. So we'll talk more about JavaScript types later, but now you know there are at least two types, one called string and one called number. The language is very forgiving. You can assign a number to a string and a string to a number. Nevertheless, at the time that a particular variable is assigned to a number, for instance, then it is a numeric variable. So that was pretty much all we said about that. The only thing I would add is to play it very safe, I've been using a kind of old syntax. In the modern world, we would declare our variables like this with the word const rather than var, but I'll get to that later. Let's just for now, I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then we use some operators. We use the plus operator, the times operator, and the equals operator. So here's a place where we use the equality operator, also known as the assignment operator. We're assigning the variable 10 to the number 10 to the variable a. And here we're using the plus operator, and here we're using the times operator. I think I'm going to update my text to say that it's not the equals operator but the assignment operator. I think that's a better choice. We also used one method called console.log, and we passed various parameters to it. One parameter was our variable prog109. Another parameter that we passed was the expression a times b. We also passed two variables here. We passed a string and we passed an expression. So I'm just throwing these terms out here so you start hearing them. We will talk about them more and define them in more depth later. Here are some references that you can use. Then we also declared a little bit of HTML in another file. So inside our JavaScript video directory, we declared a new file, or if we wanted, we could go up here and do a new file, and we called it index.html. And then we typed bang, and we pressed tab or plus enter to create our output here. On my system, for some reason, and it won't, unlikely to do this on your system, it all comes out unformatted. So I'm going to choose the format document option up here, which will format my code. It's nice to know how to get your code formatted. So I will show you that. And that gives us nicely formatted code. And then we added one line in here. In our head element, we added a script tag. And you can see that Emmett comes up with two different commands, and we're going to use the second one, that is script:source. And we're going to press enter. And then for source, we're going to bring up our test.js file. Now, how did I do that? I typed T, I held down the control key, I pressed space, and it showed me the names of the files, at least in my current directory, that makes sense to use here. We're using a script tag to link in our JavaScript file, the one we created. So we can do it like that. And then we wanted to run this file. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to create a new tab. I used Control T to create a new tab. You could also press the plus icon. And then here, I'm going to press Control O to open a dialog, and then I'm going to look for my repository. And you might go through a slightly different process to find your repository. But I found mine, and then I found that video, and then I'm going to choose to open JavaScript video directory. Yours would be called JavaScript test. And then I choose open, and it opens it up in here. Since we have no content in our body, the file comes up completely blank. But we press F12 to bring up the developer tools. You see you can also press Control-Shift-I or get it from the menu as I am now, or just press F12. And that opens up this view. And then we come over here to the console and we can see the same output that we were seeing at the command line. You can see that when we ran node test.js, we get the same thing by going to the console here. I have some references here on the document if you want to view them. And then that's all we did. So that's all I'm going to have for the video.